Councillor, there's two schools which are right near one of the worst nitrogen dioxide black spots in Brentford, where it spikes at 5 times the European Union level. Would you send your kids to those schools?
Yes, I would. Children in class are probably safer than they are if they're in the playgrounds when it's really bad. We've got one of the greenest boroughs in London, and that goes some way to mitigate the levels of nitrogen dioxide, but it's nowhere near enough. I'm never satisfied that we're doing enough. But the short answer is yes, I would send my children there. I live probably 150 yards from the A4, so I'm well aware of the pollutants and the levels that our residents have to live and work and go to school with.
Okay, the latest evidence, which was in the papers today and yesterday, suggests that the nitrogen dioxide levels at this level reduces the lung capacity of children by 10%. Would you really be willing to sacrifice your child's future, put them at risk of asthma, bronchial disease, and perhaps something which will continue for the rest of their lives? Would you really be willing to risk your child and put them at that risk?
Well, I think as a parent, I am a parent, it's about managing those risks and reducing those risks, and I'm sure every parent who's got children at those schools does that on a daily basis.
How can you manage that risk?
Well, it's making sure that they follow a healthy lifestyle.
The healthy lifestyle isn't going to save them from what is a toxic gas, which is reducing their lung capacity.
Well, I think that, as I say, I'm not a medical physician, so I can't give you the...
But you're giving a medical opinion.
No, I'm not.
Sounds to me.
No, I'm not. I'm giving you an answer that parents have to make those decisions. They're aware of the facts. Our residents are well aware of some of the issues around pollution in our borough, particularly along the A4, M4 corridor. That affects many, many residents. And we need to do all we can to support them in making the right decisions for their families.
Okay. If a parent made a decision and say, no, I don't want my child at that school because of the air pollution, what would you do?
Well, we'd help them find another school place.
So they are free to ask for another school place? That's what you're saying?
Parents are free all of the time to move school.
Yeah, but that's going to create some serious logistical problems for you.
Well, we have severe problems now with school places. It's very difficult at the moment. We need to guarantee that we've got school places for every child. That's a statutory responsibility. As far as pollution levels, we're required to produce a report every year, which we do, and we look at an action plan to reduce pollution. Now, I think we've got to do more working with TfL, the Mayor's Office and national government about getting a sea change in the types of vehicles. I think that diesels, with all the controversy over diesel emissions the last few weeks with the outrage over Volkswagen and how they were doctoring the results, there may be other car manufacturers involved. We've got to get these heavily pollutant vehicles off the road as soon as possible and have a much more strategic approach to reducing nitrogen dioxide levels in the borough.
Okay, but if there's a third runway, the number of cars passing those schools is going to go up.
Well, I think that if there is a third runway, and that's the government's decision, not ours, what we've got to do is make sure that the recommendations in the Davis report, if the government does go that way, are implemented in full. And we've got to make sure Heathrow does what it said it would do. We're introducing 20-mile limits around schools in a borough. That will help reduce pollution. I would encourage more people to walk and cycle to work, to go to leisure, just to go about their daily business. And if we all pull together, we will reduce those limits. We're very keen to plant more trees, make areas more green.
Planting trees isn't going to change emissions on the motorway.
All of those things make a difference. If we can reduce the use of the car, that will reduce the emission levels. And I think it's all of us working together to do that.
But people are very sceptical because here we have emissions which are spiking at 5 times the legal limit right next to 2 schools. And that's been going on for years. And no one's done anything. So you're saying, giving these promises, but forgive me if people say, well, we'll believe it when we see it.
Well, if I was the Prime Minister, I would be doing something about it, but I'm not.
9,000 people die a year, the latest figures are, from these kinds of pollutions, 6,000 of them from nitrogen dioxide. That's equal to a jumbo jet crashing at Heathrow every 3 weeks with no survivors. Now, if something like that happened, you would be up in arms saying we can't have that kind of death rate over London. And yet, people are not up in arms. They're not really saying this is causing real health damage.
Well, I think people are. I mean, people like yourself who've raised it with me, other people in the borough raise it all of the time. The people who are concerned if Heathrow Airport expands with a third runway, they're very concerned about the pollution and the noise. We're all concerned. I think it's incumbent on us to do everything we can to ensure the borough, with its limited resources, which have been cut dramatically over the last 5 years, will continue to be cut. So our ability to influence, the ability to change is greatly reduced. But we're doing what we can to reduce the harm and the risk to our young people and elderly.